Welcome to YLL. It's your girl Jazz Young,
And it's your boy Nelly now.
and we're back for another one. All right, so weekly Wednesday. I mean, not weekly Wednesday. Wednesday thoughts. Today's thoughts is forgiveness. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because the last few weeks forgiveness been popping up. So I said, "Well, ain't God? You want me to talk about forgiveness? I will." And so here we are. So first and foremost, what do you think when somebody say forgive? What do you think of?
Forgive, I think it means treating someone, as best as you can treat them for given the circumstances.
Okay.
I think it maybe like unconditional love a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
For me, it's unconditional love for sure. Cause I'm very conditional.
Oh, you're very conditional.
And I struggle with forgiveness. So I think defining it for me looks like a lot of different things.
Okay, I'm difficult.
Mm-hmm. It's not a general. For me, it's not a general. It's not a blanket.
I'm difficult.
We know.
So first and foremost, I think there's levels to forgiveness.
For sure.
For me, level one is I forgive you, but it's still fuck you. Like the second one is I forgive you, and hey, maybe you changed, maybe you've grown. And then the third is I forgive you, and I've came at peace with it as a collective. I don't worry about it. I don't think about it. I might call and check up on you now, depending on where we stand after level two. But like level two is like that cordial moment where I can probably say hello. Level three is where I can actually say, "Hey, how are you? What's going on?" Like type of thing. That's where I look at forgiveness. I also think you have to forgive yourself first before you fully can forgive other people for what they've done. And forgiving yourself means understanding why you let that happen, right? I think it's important for us to understand why we allowed people to treat us a certain way, why we allow certain things to happen, and then it's like, how are you going to move forward? To do that, you have to forgive yourself. Now, sometimes people like that old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times, fuck the peace sign. Shout out to J. Cole.
That's what George Bush said.
But I think that like forgiveness comes from within first. So once you kind of like level 3 is when you really probably forgiving yourself. Like the first 2 levels, you're still into it because you haven't fully forgiven.
That's
and
baby
I think
forgiveness.
Yeah.
But can we call that forgiveness though?
Yeah, I think it's important to forgive yourself. If we ever
adding on a bunch of levels and all that.
Yeah, it's levels to anything in life. But I don't have stipulations. I think that like when I look at forgiveness, it took me like certain things that's happened in my life. I reflect on them and I'm like, what made me talk to that person again? What got me there? And then how are we never gonna let that again happen? So I've had multiple situations that's happened over the years. I gotta forgive my line sisters. I haven't done that fully yet. I still have some hard feelings about that. Hard feelings about them as well. And so I think like understanding that perspective, it's like that's what I mean. Like I probably gotta look at myself too and like say, hey, what is the issue? What's the problem? Why do you feel that way? But I think it comes with forgiveness. Yeah. Why you look at me like that?
What?
Because when I said, I mean, I'm honest. Like I think I gotta forgive my line sisters. I gotta forgive myself. I gotta forgive my parents. There's things that I think I gotta forgive my family. There's so much that I think I've held on to, and that's part of healing is forgiving and understanding. What it is. And how can it be different? I think the closest people to me, I have to forgive them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I had to forgive you. Because, you used to be trifling back in the day. You would try to hang out with Nelly Nels, y'all, and he ain't never got time for you. But then you'll always see him on social media with other folks. Now, you've definitely made some changes in your life.
But that's not a forgive. That's,
But it is. I think you're looking at forgiveness as like somebody deep. Cheat. Yeah, but I think... I also pay attention to small things. I'm very big on small things. I think the small things is what leads to big things. So when you look at it and be like, oh, that's small. I don't need to forget. Then the next time they do something, you gonna hold that and you gonna hold that other thing. Nah, you gotta forgive them for certain things. So it's like certain people in my life, I'm still forgiving them.
Yeah.
I haven't reached that max point of peace. of certain things. Now, I'm not saying like for my parents, my losses, I still get my family love. I still get my losses love. I still get my parents love. I would kill you over my parents. Like, don't play with me. And I will beat your ass with my losses. Like, I will fight for my family. Like, it's nothing to where it's fuck y'all. I'm never at fuck y'all. I'm at literally I just want to be at peace. Like, I want to just be like, man, this used to upset me. This used to make me hurt. But I've grown, and I think that's why I say I had to forgive myself. And then just childhood trauma, man. I think it comes from a lot from my parents, just forgiving them, and also like looking at it like, the hungriness that I've had. Why I'm not as hungry as I used to be, or where that confidence go. And I think it folds into my family. You know what I'm saying? So understanding where they're at, and stuff like that. How do you forgive?
I don't. I think right now I can't really. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I can. Oh God, that's annoying. I didn't know why. It's because you did something wrong. Forgiveness is probably like the biggest thing that because I look at forgiveness as spiritual. So it's definitely like the biggest spiritual thing, my biggest hurdle. I didn't even care about forgiving until I realized I got more in tune with the Bible. And
you gotta forgive, man.
You got to, or else And
it's like God forgives you. You know what I'm saying?
And it wasn't. And now I did read a book. I forgot what it's called. It was about forgiveness, and it was like, basically saying, and it also kind of tied into like righteous anger, and like even like being angry with people, and that also went into like being like unbothered kind of, like I forgot what it's called, but yeah, so it basically, the gist was like righteous anger, as in like when we're angry, what makes us, we're not God, right? What I'm saying? So it's like everybody else, we all imperfect people, so what makes my anger better than yours, or my decisions better than somebody else who's like hurt me and things like that? Like when we all out here doing things wrong, we're all mistreating people, we're all saying, what I'm saying, at some point. So it's like, when you put it in perspective, like how can I not forgive somebody when look what God has forgiven me for, honey, time and time and day, after minutes, seconds.
So you haven't forgiven anybody since with that mindset?
I've started the process, but
like, have you forgiven what's his face?
I don't know who
you know who I'm talking about. You know exactly who I'm talking about. I'm just not gonna put his name out there.
From like way back in the day,
like UD, like not he went to UD.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You came and visit us at UD with him.
Okay, we're talking a lot.
I didn't say we still didn't say no names.
People with it depending on who.
People ain't gonna.
Yeah, somebody. We don't know how big this.
But that's why I said nobody at you. Like they didn't go there because I ain't want nobody to really, get confused.
It's two things. This is either way. So I'll say this. I don't know because you think you forgive somebody, right?
Yeah.
And then you like. So I think I'm just having a hard time identifying my true full forgiveness to somebody is.
Okay.
Because I do feel like if I've forgiven you, and then but if you're not in my life anymore anyway, it's like how can I? But when I think about certain things and I still get angry about it, it's like, am I just angry about it because it's making me mad in that moment, or am I angry about it because I haven't forgiven you with it? So I think I'm just trying to identify
the difference.
My forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Especially when you don't, when they could be dead tomorrow, you wouldn't matter anything to you. Also, too, on the flip side, that have I forgiven the person who I still now hang out with, and we cool, we can be cordial, stuff like that. But like the minute that they do something similar to whatever they've done to me or to somebody else, I'm like, I go extra hard with it. Like, oh, what I mean? And I'm bringing that back up to remembrance, so it's like, am I just forgiving and not forgetting, or, so it's just a lot. So I don't know. I can't 100% say for sure that I've fully forgiven a person because I just don't know yet. I still have to do more digging and more work.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
I don't know.
I feel like I said, I still have people to forgive. But like you mentioned with God and forgiveness, I just think that is also like, have they forgiven you too? Excuse me. Have they forgiven you? I think that comes with the play of forgiveness as a whole as well. Some people won't care. Like I always would be like, man, did what's her face ever forgive me about the whole Kristen thing? Like that thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I stayed humbled in that. I was accountable. I said what I did. I
Mm-hmm.
never lied about it. Never
Yeah,
tried to
yeah.
make it seem. So it's like, dang, did you at least forgive me, sis? Like,
Mm-hmm.
because one, I'm not like that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's not the space I've ever been in.
Mm-hmm.
And two, it's like I was young and I was the
Mm-hmm.
BFF. Like you ain't, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, have you forgiven me? I also
Mm-hmm.
think like, I had to forgive like Janaya. Forgiving Janaya was, you're trying to figure out why I'm saying names.
I just like I'm just so baffled. Like this is a lot for me.
I'm sorry. I think letting people know who you forgiven is great. I won't say names for you, but
Bitch, you better not. Hell.
but I'll say names for me. But like forgiving her too, like seeing, because that was the first time I ever been through something like that.
Mm.
So it's just like I forgiving you. I still remember,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not as I've come at peace with it because I know how I feel
Right.
mentally, and you know, so certain things in my life, I just be like, man, like I said, I'm right now. I'm focusing on forgiving people in a way of understanding certain things about
Mm-hmm.
myself.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I think I've grown over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're still harping on who I was in 2018, 2017,
Mm-hmm.
you're a bitch. Like that's how I
Mm-hmm.
feel because
Mm-hmm.
I know I've grown.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or you harping on something that has happened to you. Let's reflect and ask yourself what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I also think that sometimes people judge you based off what
Mm-hmm.
they think they know. You know, people
Mm-hmm.
don't give you they just hold on to the past or they, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's some of the things that I think I'm holding on to is the past. You know,
Oh,
with
honey,
certain
I'm a grudge holder.
yeah, with certain like my parents, I hate that my parents didn't push me more.
Mm.
But I also hate that my parents like when I was in Philly, it was this guy that was like, "Yo, your daughter is gonna be dope at basketball. Let me put her on my AAU team."
Mm-hmm.
And my parents were just about working,
Mm.
making money. Like they didn't see the now. Somebody say that you know them. You know parents putting their
Oh
kids
yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
joint.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. My parents didn't do that, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that was a turnaround for me in life.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I'm like, damn. Like, what if my parents
Mm-hmm.
would have had me in AAU when I was in
Mm-hmm.
5th grade when homie in Philly said I will be that great, like
Mm-hmm.
because my defense was this, my defense was that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
where was? Why did we wait until high school to care?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why was I never in AAU? You know, my mom be like, well, I put you in gymnastics. Yeah, you put me in things I wasn't interested in.
Right.
And then the one thing I'm interested in, I didn't do.
Get to
Besides,
do.
I only played basketball in high school.
Yeah.
I didn't play basketball in middle school. I only played basketball in the streets, like at the park or in high school. So it's like, man, like, bro, really? Like, I feel like they have a part of the reason why, like, certain ways. I used to be very confident when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
And then when other people would come up and be, you know, a little bit better than me, instead of like my family pouring into me
Mm-hmm.
and kind of still building the confidence, it was still like a breakdown, like, oh, she better than you, or oh, they doing this better than you. And it's just like, bro, like, you don't know how that breaks somebody.
Yeah.
So it's like, but why did they say that? Like, first of all, why did I allow my parents? I can't change. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I still be like, you know, I think I talk more with my mom about it or my dad about it because I'm older and I just have a different viewpoint. But there's things that I gotta forgive my dad for that I feel like he did when I was younger. My grandmother, like the reason why I forgave my grandmother so quickly is because she's into God a lot. So
Right.
it's just like, all right, like I see you have God heavy in your life, therefore I know you're good now.
Yeah.
But yeah, like man, just and y'all might think, Jazz, come on, this is childish. But y'all, I don't think y'all realize how little things can beat you when you're younger. Not now. Like now, I don't give a fuck. But like when I was,
But when you're a kid, a lot of things matter. When you're a kid, things matter. Words matter. Actions matter.
yes,
Like you have got to be. And I think, and I know the older I get now, and it's like, you know, the older we get, it's like, you know, we had a kid right now.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, you try to do your best and all that, but you know, life is life. People are people. You know, before your parents was your parents, or when they were your parents as well, they were also people.
yeah,
You know, and people are the people. But now I do think about, even when it comes to like my nieces and nephews, you know, like my kids that I call them, like I am much more careful about what I say to them, how I come off to them, even when they doing bad, when they doing wrong. I'm conscious about you know, what's being said and how I'm saying things, because kids
yeah.
are fragile. You know, their feelings are fragile, and they're kids. They're supposed to be, and they're innocent too. So things do matter. Little things matter.
Matter
You
for
know what
sure,
I mean?
especially when you're younger.
And one thing about it, people, I always say that this now, like you may forget what somebody says to you specifically and all that, but however somebody has made you feel, you remember that.
Shout out
So
to
you,
Maya Angelou.
yeah. So you, oh, she said that.
Yeah.
All right, you may never forget how someone has made you feel. No, that's the wrong line. But yeah, you just never you never forget that. So I think we do have to be conscious. So it's not nothing small.
But I just
Things
yeah.
they may be small things, but not to a kid.
Not to a
Like
kid. Like now they're small, but like I also
yeah,
say like never hear my mom say I love you.
mm,
You know what I mean? Like
mm-hmm.
that comes with forgiveness. Not because she
Yeah,
couldn't say it, but my mom just wasn't like my mom's just not like that.
yeah.
Like she's just not that person. But I know she loves me.
Yeah, because
So it's
she's
like
heavily
under
involved, and that's so crazy. Like, you could have like your mom is like heavily involved with you. Like y'all talk, like y'all have a really like on the outside looking in. Like it's like not everybody has that, but then somebody may all who don't have that, they may always have their parents telling them that they love them, but they don't really be there like that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's just crazy how certain things, how that goes for real.
Yeah, and that's just what it is. I think like
Mm,
understanding what it is that you need to forgive, it makes it
mm.
easier. Do you think you have to forget to forgive?
I would like honestly, but I would like if I make the decision to forget somebody. I wish there was a machine where I could just forget what they did. Honestly, because one thing about me, I ain't gonna forget. And, and
Yeah,
and for me, it's like for me, I just wish I could really just forget what somebody has done. Honestly, if I really am serious about forgiving them, but also too like when you had said like some people, if they holding a grudge from you from back in the day or whatever. Like for me, I understand that some people only have experienced me from back in the day, and I was and I'm talking about way back in the day, like high
yeah,
school and all that. And I do like I was a little crazy. Like
I believe it,
y'all only got like a little
but I
snippet.
believe it because
Yeah,
we've seen it.
yeah. And that was when I was trying
You're
to kind of do a
growing,
little
yeah,
bit better. So, I do understand that like some people, to this day have only experienced me from like way back in the day. And I know they probably like, honey, that bitch.
but you know what? I think like that's where you don't got. Me personally, I think that if you're never gonna forget, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you have to forgive to forget. I think that when you look at it, you can't get mad again. You can't allow
Yeah.
the, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
yeah. You can't really allow the memory to
to
put you
put you
back
back in that
to the
type of
place
space.
before you forgave that person.
Exactly. Or
Yeah.
don't when they do something, don't be like, see, you did that the last. Like try not
This
to
is what
be
I be talking about.
exactly. You did that the last time, so it's like
Mm-hmm.
understanding that forgetting. I don't think it's like it leaves your mind.
Yeah.
Forgetting is you don't allow it
Yeah.
to alter your feelings in that
Yeah.
moment, and then you also don't bring it back up. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I forgave you, we're done with it, but it's still
You
there.
can't really bring
You
in
can't never
arguments
bring it
and you
out.
really can't.
But if you
Yeah.
decide to change your life and be like, you know what, countless times after times, I'm not gonna bring it back up, but I'm done. And this is
Yeah,
why I'm
yeah.
done. I think that comes with it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't. It's kind of hard to forget something just because you're always gonna remember it. You
Yes.
know, if unless you can laugh about it with the person, maybe that's when you bring it back up. Like I know
Yeah, yeah.
there are times like me and Ariana joke about something that happened,
Mm,
and I also know these people watch my stuff, so let me drop their names. But there have been moments like
because you're doing a lot of
yeah,
names.
like
This
Ariana, me
one
and
is the name
Ariana.
dropper.
It is. Me and Ariana had to go through forgiveness time. And, sometimes we'll joke about it now and kiki and laugh
Yeah,
and it'd be
yeah.
like,
And that's the beautiful
what's up?
part too. Now, yeah, now and here's the thing too. I know, and I've also really wanted to forgive. My hunger to forgive is more because I've known people have forgiven me. And they generally have forgiven me and
Yeah.
really move on and joke about things. So, and it feels good to know that. So it's like I would love to. I could just imagine how good it makes. I know how good it makes me feel, so I could imagine how good it would make like somebody like my parent, like people who really,
Yeah.
who you really need to forgive. Honestly, I just know how good it will make them feel too. So I think that is another. Yeah, that's too as a motivator, for me.
Now, my next question is do
I'm
you
scared.
think there's a time that forgiveness runs out? Like,
For sure. Well, see,
is there ever a moment where you feel like if somebody be like, man, I forgive you, but this thing happened like 5 years ago? Is it like I don't care or do you accept it?
as far as forgiveness running out, I do think some people are like that, but I would urge people to because you really need to forgive honestly. Like if you really need to forgive.
Yeah.
So I think before you let it run out, forgive the person, like know your limits and boundaries, forgive that person, but then just remove yourself.
Okay.
But don't let it be to a point where you are not gonna forgive that person ever again. Because people will try you. People are gonna hurt you. That's what it is. That's what life
That's
is.
life. That's
Yeah,
how you
yeah,
get experiences,
yeah. You're
man.
gonna be, honey. You're gonna be dog walked in life.
Yeah.
Dog walked, baby.
And it might be
Stomped
as
on.
small as simple. Like, is there any moment where you want to talk about?
What, that I haven't forgiven?
Yeah. Like, what is a moment that you haven't forgiven somebody for?
Well, honey, I told you, honey,
No, but
I
like,
haven't
give us.
forgiven anybody yet.
Yeah. So give us a one of your stories. No names, of
Really,
course.
like not forgiven.
Nah, so I'm asking, like,
Yeah,
tell us a
yeah.
situation where you're sitting back, like, all right, I gotta eventually forgive them, and you haven't. But what was the situation?
Or like, or that I have forgiven.
No, that you haven't.
Oh,
Like, okay. So for me, for example,
mm-hmm.
right? Um,
I have a good one.
for example, like my parents, like how I said, like,
Mm-hmm.
forgiving them for the whole childhood stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the only example because I don't want to give everybody too much of the other
Mm-hmm.
stuff that I'm talking about. But
Mm-hmm.
like that's something I have to forgive my parents, my
Mm-hmm.
family, the confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people would say you're confident, Jazz, but I know deep down like
Yeah,
there's something there.
yeah.
So like those are moments where I haven't forgiven, but those are like my forgiving. I had to forgive. Like I
Mm-hmm.
need to forgive, or even if I did forgive, like that, like what was the situation where
Yeah.
it has you pondering like on forgiveness in general.
You know what really made me want to dog walk my parents as like a, I think I was like, how old was I? It was whatever the year I got I was 12 in the 7th grade. Um, why would you look at me like that?
Cause I swear you was about to say like you 16,
Oh, something recent.
17.
Well, no,
You said
because
12.
well, see, because here's the thing. It was a lot leading up to the my household from the age of like 10 to like 13, 14 was like real chaotic. So a lot of those things made me and my parents' relationship, what it was, in high school and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I really didn't really fool with it. Was nothing that they could do to, you know what I mean? I didn't, we weren't really interacting like that. So,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It was what the damage had been done basically.
Yeah.
So I remember I was 12 years old and I had just got my first like bill phone. I had a phone since I was 10, but they were like, like the phones that you use the cards with, that you
Yeah.
put the minutes on there. But this was my first like Verizon, phone when I was 12. It was like my flip phone. And so, it was Christmas time. So leading up to, it was like Christmas Eve. So my parents, they were like going through they were like, how like black people sometimes they don't be getting divorced, but
Yeah.
they need to, but they live their life like they divorced.
Yeah.
So, it was around Christmas time and, my mom and dad, they were like separated, but we were all living in the same house.
Mm.
And this is why I also be triggered when people be like, oh, I'm just here for the kids, stop doing it. Cause it's really stupid, honestly. Unless like, you're going to be poor on the street and not have nowhere for you and your kids to go. That's why y'all staying together. If it's not like heavy financials, like don't do that. It's really dumb. So they were still in the same house or whatever, but living like two separate lives or whatever. So it was like Christmas time, and around this time too, I was home by myself like a lot.
Mm.
So it was like Christmas Eve. I had came up to me and my cousins had went to my uncle's house, just for them to open up the gifts. I got my gifts or whatever,
Mm.
and so we on their way back. And I was calling, my parents or whatever, and like none of them was answering. So I'm like, and I already knew. I was like, dang, ain't nobody. I'm gonna get home on Christmas Eve, and nobody's gonna be home. I already knew that. But see, I was with my cousins, so like I didn't want, and I was also very protective of what was going on in my household at the time because they, like I don't know if it's a black thing, but you gotta keep stuff inside the house.
Yeah, everybody business. I just
Yeah.
said that.
Yes. So it's like, I was trying to keep it on the low, but it was just people was like talking and it's, from a small town, they talking and stuff like that. Like it started to become like more than I could control. So I was like, Lord, if I pull it to this house and nobody's there, like my cousins, they're going to like, wonder what's going on. They're going to be upset. They're going to be probably calling their parents, which is my uncle and aunt at the time. Like, people are going to find this out about this. So I was annoyed. That was really why I was annoyed because I was used to it. So I'm like, so I'm home. So we get home. Of course, no cars is in the parking lot, and I had a key to the back door. So like, my cousins, they looking confused, like, and they getting pissed, like, why is nobody home on Christmas Eve? With you when you're 12 years old.
Yeah.
So they were like, they're like, you don't have to go in there, you know what I mean? Like, F them, this, that, and the third young. And I'm like, no, like, they're going to be home, like, in a couple minutes. Like, I already told them I'm lying.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Something you do often.
yeah. So I'm like, don't try it. Use true. So I'm like, no, they're going to be, and they were like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, no, it's fine. So I went in there, whatever, so I'm like, I'm just like sitting there and I'm like 12 years old and I'm like, just opening my gifts by myself or whatever, you know what I mean? All that. And so my dad, I think he got home around like, it was Christmas at this point. So I think he had got home around like maybe 2 in the morning, he all drunk, whatever. Then my mom, she had came home, that next morning or whatever.
So
So
wait, pause. Your parents didn't come back home until Christmas?
it was Christmas. So like, I'm opening up my gifts and, but I remember like being happy because I had my first like real phone and stuff like that. But, I think that's the moment where it really changed me with them because and that made me hard. My heart was very hardened towards them. I was very because after that, honey, I was a beach. I ain't gonna lie, honey. After that, baby, they didn't know what was wrong with me.
But that's real. Like, I think as a kid, you're talking
Yeah.
about 12 years old on a holiday of gifting, Santa Claus and all that. Like, and you're not there.
Yeah.
You're not there on that type of time. It's like,
Yeah.
what type of
Yeah,
parents are y'all?
that's
I
what I'm
agree with your
saying.
cousins. Like, fuck them.
Yeah.
Well, at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it was a lot. And so like I think, that was the moment. And so and it's so crazy. It's been all these years, but I do be thinking about that. Like
Okay.
I like anytime like when I'm thinking about forgiveness and stuff, that memory is like one that like it be like it's like I need to. That's how I know how far I've come with the forgiveness.
Yeah.
Cause honey, I get sent back to that 12-year-old. I be ready to dog walk that
Dog
dude to
walk
this day, child.
And
So
I
yeah,
haven't. When I hear somebody say photography or photographer, I haven't forgiven.
it's a trigger.
I haven't forgiven the nigga that messed up my mom's wedding. Well, she didn't mess it up. Shout out to Aunt Celinda.
Oh, she got a photographer.
No,
Or
Aunt
she ended
Celinda
up-
is a photographer.
Oh, okay,
So
good.
one of her friends stepped
Yeah.
up like a friend.
Yeah.
But I will say like that's somebody I haven't forgiven, and I think that would be one of the one people that forgiveness has to come with like me seeing him and having a conversation. Like, why did you? I don't like this simple. I made a mistake. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like it has to be more, and I don't think he would ever give me that. I just don't think that. Like I've seen him, and I look at him and roll my eyes. Like I've seen him in public. He knows not to talk to me. He knows not to speak. Don't say hello. Don't say nothing. And I think like in my life, I don't know if I could ever forgive him.
You need to forgive that man.
No, I just think I won't care anymore. But as long as people say photography, especially when they be like, it's like UD people or like Delaware people, and they, he's a little cheaper than all the other people. And I just be like, no. Like, no.
But just imagine you at like the pearly gates, right? And God is going through your, all your list of stuff, and then it's like, oh yeah, you're good. Oh, wait a minute. You didn't forgive Derek, the photographer. So you know what? You're done. Just imagine that being the thing that sends you.
I mean, I wouldn't say I would never forgive him, but I just feel like I gotta grow some more. Like I'm not in a place. I don't know why. Like
How about this?
I can't tell y'all why I can't forgive this man. I think it is. I don't know. Like I it's so crazy because I'm very easy with like forgiving or not forgiving, but like getting past things.
Yeah.
But like when somebody say photography, like
Because you now you don't give me like grudger or
yeah,
whatever.
like
you
because
really
I give
don't
people
that.
grace. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that
yeah.
sometimes people do have things. But when I tell y'all, if I go back, I'm trying to think that if I had this phone, if I go back to that day, I just feel like he pissed me off so much that it's like there was no accountability besides my bad.
But too also, the circumstances were a
And it
lot.
was my
Because here's the
mom's big
thing,
event,
yes,
bro.
and because for a wedding, honey, is so much, and to be like the child of the like, it's so I could just only I
And it was
know
my
that was just
recommendation. Grand Tour is my
yeah,
recommendation. So you're representing my boy.
yeah,
You represent my friend. Now my mom like, yeah, I'm not gonna
yeah,
use Grand Tour for nothing
yeah,
no more. And
yeah.
I'm just like, nah. Like it was just a
Yeah,
mistake on
and
his
just the
part.
stress that weddings already are, and just because this is months some
Yeah.
of planning, and so just the stress of and honestly, people, when it comes to a wedding, like everything is important, but honey, the photographer is one of the most
It's important
important
things. That's like
things.
the DJ not showing up. Like, how
Literally,
are you not gonna be there to
that's
catch the
that's like
moment?
that's like a because it's like regardless, you can survive without certain things at a wedding, right?
Yeah.
You can make it happen. But like a professional photographer that you are counting on to be there, honey, that throws a big wrench in front
Yeah.
of it. Because you can take pictures, but it's like no,
It's not the same. And it don't matter because Aunt Celinda was better than him
yeah, yeah.
anyway. But I just think like
But y'all didn't plan for her
and she
to
should have
have
been
to
able to
do that.
enjoy her
Enjoy the
friend's wedding. You
wedding.
know, that
She
was the
didn't come there
goal.
for that.
Exactly. And my mom didn't
Yeah,
my mom could have hired her, but my mom was like, no, she
she
wanted
wanted
to
her to
enjoy the
do.
wedding.
Yeah,
So I just think like in that moment, I think that's what's been like a thing where it's hard for me to truly forgive him as a whole. Because if you're willing to do that for somebody big event, it's just like,
it's
and that's not
honey.
the first time I heard him do that. Like after I was telling people, they was like, oh yeah, he did this to us, he did this to, and it's like, so you have no morals. Why the fuck are you a photographer?
And you're
It-
repeating.
a repeating offense. So it's
For
like,
offender.
why is it that you can't
Stop your behavior.
exactly? And so I think like that's what gets me, that's what upsets me.
Because
And
you
I'm,
feel like he really didn't learn.
yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
got his Instagram. Live like Derek. It's LIVELIKEDEREK. As promised in Culture Friday, I was like, I got y'all. Um, but yeah, I don't. Last time he posted was 2020 because he's that trifling. His thing is called. Oh no, his photography page is called ODVLS. ODVLS. So yeah, I just think that he's a horrible person. Like I said, you don't mess up somebody's big event and then find an excuse why you couldn't be there. I also think that was his excuse was piss poor. But of course people gonna support him, people gonna look out for him. But me, I'll be the first to tell y'all. Let me tell y'all this right here. I got the best recommendations in the world. Like that's one thing. I'm a big resource. Like I'm like Google,
Yeah.
Amazon all in one. Like y'all want some, y'all need some, I know where to get it. I know how to get it. Like I am that. So for someone that you give an opportunity to and they fold, it's like, yo, you're trifling. So anybody that use him, that is up to you. But me personally, I would not recommend him. He's trash. He's not shit, and he's all about just doing college shit. He's not about doing real events. Because if he was, he would have showed up to the wedding. Just say you couldn't do it. Just say you're not a wedding photographer. Just say you were scared. Just say you had no confidence. But to not show up, you're trifling and you're an asshole. And so don't support ODVLS. ODVLS. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. He's trash. Period. And that's just how I feel. Would I ever forgive him? One day, I think that because I'm
We're
I'm
praying
godly.
for forgiveness.
Yeah, I'm very big on God, and I know the importance of forgiving. Maybe I gotta find another shitty photographer for me to put that on there. I don't know. Just forgive him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pray on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pray about it. I'm gonna ask God to put forgiveness in my heart, so that when
Yes.
people say photography or photographer, I just don't be like, yeah, wait, don't use this trifling ass nigga, because I will say that like just like that.
Yeah, I think maybe, once you get forgiveness for him, then it would be like, well, hey, here was my experience, with
Yeah,
him.
he's still at level one.
You're
It's I forgive you, but fuck you.
You're welcome to, use him, but just, just know that,
He's trifling.
this was my experience. So.
Yeah, and I think that people, if I wanted to put his business out there, I got screenshots to show you the conversations, to show you what was talked about. Just because it wasn't talked about the day before, you're a professional. My mom didn't talk to the DJ the day before.
You know what's so crazy? There was this thing on this girl I follow on TikTok, and she was moving in. She was like moving to a new place, and so she had booked the people that the beds that are like the tuft beds, and they're like they have to be assembled. It's like the mattress in the middle, then it's like the big headboard, and on the sides are like it's kind of like luxury or whatever. But you have to build it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a thing. People was doing it a couple of years ago. So she's moving, and so she had been booked it, and then she texted him like the day before she moving because she hadn't heard nothing. Like, hey, we still good for you to put my bed up, and he like, oh, you should have reminded me. I did. Now she's a viral person, so they got in on him. Like
His
he had
ass,
to,
yeah.
of course he refunded the money. People was on him. He no matter of fact, what happened was it was so much on him that he had called her and was like, "Hey," because she was still like, can you still come and do it?
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what, I'm just gonna send your money back because you got these people. And like he didn't even want to deal with it no more because they had got into him so bad.
But see, the people he's stupid because I would have went
It
it so
still
then
did
she
it,
could be like,
and for I
he
would have did it
came.
for
I
free
would have still give her money and I
and still built her bed, honey. Threw some extra stuff on there so that he would have been
exactly.
able to say. But see, here's the thing: people's egos and they stuff they don't know how, and professionals they don't know how to conduct business because
Yeah.
number one, why am I reminding you of anything?
And you are the person like.
You have my money as well though, the
Well, see, he didn't. There
deposits
was
and
no
all that.
deposits for him, but he don't take deposits because my mom asked, "Do you have a deposit?" And he was like, "Nah,
You
I'm
feel
a."
like that's a red flag these days?
No, because sometimes people just don't. Because I know, like, for somebody, I asked a friend, like, why they don't have deposits.
Yeah.
And it was like, because it keeps you in. Like, you're locked in. You have the ability when you want to take a deposit to cancel.
Right.
And that's their mindset. So it's like, but I'd rather you cancel than not show up. Like you literally walked in. Like when somebody called you, you weren't even looking like you were making your way there. And my mom was about to walk down the aisle.
Mm.
So it's like, and to say like, y'all, I really wish I could go back to text messages and read it to y'all.
No.
Like, because I want the people to know why I haven't forgiven his ugly behind.
So yeah, so so it's just but yeah, that reminded me of her, thing like, how am I reminding you of a service that I booked for you? But I don't know. I don't really book with people that don't have deposits, honestly.
Okay, so you just be like,
Because it's too much of that, and I just I can't deal with it. I'm a crash out, honey. So yeah, no. Like the only thing I will do that don't require a deposit is like my barber. He don't do like deposits. So, well, he does like a $2 thing to
yeah.
book it. But
So I think my old phone has the Derek stuff.
look at God.
Yeah.
Because we didn't need to relive that.
Nah, I think like that also comes with forgiveness though. You know what I mean? Talking out with somebody, you probably could help me forgive the man.
I'm trying. I'm hoping that was enough. Me saying,
Nah, like I still feel like if I'm willing to put your name out there, put your Instagram out there, I haven't really forgiven you fully.
you're gonna go to hell if you don't forgive him.
I rebuke that in the name of Jesus.
That's
I,
the
I
thing.
I never said I wouldn't forgive him. I just think I
Okay.
did say that. But let me recant and say it better. I'm not at a forgiving place with him yet. I don't know when I will ever be, but I think before I die, that will be the goal, to forgive people for the actions that they displayed. But I've forgiven people. Like somebody called me a groomer, I've forgiven them. It's something about what he did to my mama that just pissed me off a lot.
What is a groomer? Like a dog groomer?
No, like a groomer, like a pedophile type of groomer.
Oh, I've never heard that before. Like I've never heard that
I gotta tell you the story.
terminology.
I gotta tell you the story off camera.
I think I could piece it together.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the people I know at all?
No.
Oh, well, no,
Yeah,
no.
you probably. I don't know if I really, talked about it as much because that's something I forget. I just be like, man, people were in a space that they're figuring things out, and I was a good like scapegoat of a beatdown. But I've forgiven them because I feel like
You might have told me. You sure I don't know the person at all?
Nah, I don't think you know the person.
Okay.
Nah. But yeah, like. So I feel like it's been moments where I've forgiving people with hardships. Like calling me like a pedophile type of groomer is crazy.
That's literally
It's
insane.
crazy. Like, do you know what you're saying? And
Literally
to be so
crazy.
confident to say it, it's like, where does that logic come from?
Yeah.
And whatever the logic was, it was like, you're just mad that I'm not like a mentor to you, basically. Like, you're just mad. Like, I don't care about, like, not that I don't care about you. I don't talk to you as often, or I don't care to talk to you. Like, I'm not trying to talk to you. I don't be forced, like, and I just feel like that's real. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
people put energy out there because they upset
And
at
people
some
also
moment.
like to project their feelings anyway, you
Exactly.
know.
So it's like what you see,
Which
you
is
just
half the
mad.
issues with people. They are
Yeah. In a
projecting.
sense, I'd be like, damn, you just mad I wasn't grooming you in a sense, right?
Hmm.
Like if I own up to it. But I think people mistake grooming for being somebody's mentor. Like, first of all, I
Hmm.
think grooming comes with sex. So I ain't trying to have
I
no
just
sexual
never
relations
heard
with
these
nobody.
terminologies
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Because we said grooming. I'm like, well, Minnie got a grooming appointment tomorrow. And you know what? Speaking of professionalism, I was nervous a little bit booking Minnie's because she's going to a different groomer because our place
Bro.
they be so patent. We got a photo shoot them. I don't have time with them, so I had called them today, and because I was nervous, and I'm like, Lord, like, are they like, is this a professional place? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But honey, they was like, oh yeah, we got her down. Then they just text me and was like, your
Send me the
appointment.
info so I can.
Yeah,
Cause my
yeah.
mom is bugging me about my butt, so I need
What
to.
she feel like he need room?
He
He need
need
to be
to be
room.
cut, but I be tell her it's winter. He ain't gonna get cold. Like, lady, huh?
Yeah, because Minnie, when she's getting groomed, but she's
Yeah.
not getting like hair, like all. She's getting,
The face nice
in like
looking.
shape that I was like shaped up,
Yeah,
like stuff like that.
and then she's getting
But she's
washed and
keeping
stuff.
her, yeah, she getting washed stuff, and I think her glands too. But in her nails and stuff. But yeah, honey, she's keeping that fur. And
She's
it's
keeping
cold
it's cold outside, and
outside.
I
All
keep
these
trying to tell my mom that.
dogs. What the
See,
world?
my dog need to forget my mama.
Yeah.
But nah, in all seriousness though, the lesson in all this, I know that we both have. Well, I know I have said some things. But I think it is important to forgive. It's gonna take time. You're not gonna forgive somebody tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think certain things is I wouldn't say nothing is unforgettable because I think that you have to forgive to really succeed fully in life. Um
And honey, if you got a memory, you're gonna remember.
well yeah, I don't think you will ever forget, but don't allow the things you forgiven people for. Don't let the I didn't forget to be your moment of all right, I'm gonna use this against you. Um Forgiveness is a
Yeah.
tough thing. It's an important thing. It's an adult thing. It's a mature thing. And be in the right place. Don't just say you forgave people and then still be like,
Yeah.
no,
Now
like because
that's
you haven't
now
forgiven them.
that is me too. Like I'd be like, honey, I forgive you, but honey, soon, and here's and you know what's so crazy? I also always equated things to like cheating and stuff like that because honey, when you're in the streets, honey, you go through trauma with these niggas.
And you still gotta forgive when they cheat on you.
If it, Yeah, you need to forgive generally, but you also need to be real about your forgiveness if you're gonna keep them as well.
Yes,
Because
yes.
here's the thing: you can't, when you're in relationships and you forgiving that person and you're not leaving. If you really forgiven, you can't bring up what they did. You just can't. You can't keep bringing it up.
Unless it's like a joking funny manner.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm
which
saying?
it's highly unlikely that you
It's
could joke
joking.
about cheating and stuff. You still with the person. So, and here's my thing, y'all got to do that, or you're gonna have to leave them because it's not fair. Which I've done to people to forgive them, still move on because you ain't ready to leave yet. You just can't handle leaving, and it's still chaotic because you didn't forget them, and you still going back and forth with them about the same person or the same thing that they did, and this person has tried to show you this, that, and the thing. You just really holding it on them. You know what I'm saying? Making them just kiss the ground that you walk on. That's not fair too. That's not right. So,
Exactly. So it's time for us to
and
forgive
I've done
certain
that.
people. I personally think y'all need to start forgiving Chris Brown. That's the one person I think y'all need to start forgiving. You know.
You were just name dropping these people
Yeah,
that day.
well, we can name drop famous people.
Oh yeah.
Papoose and Remy, y'all need to forgive each other. You know,
That's gonna take a minute.
yeah.
'Cause
I mean that
you
that
know them
is
New York
fresh.
people is real crazy too,
They
honey. They
different.
they go crazy.
Who else? I think we need to start forgiving a little bit more.
Donald Trump.
No, no,
Okay.
no. Don't ever forgive that man. Well, y'all gotta eventually forgive him if you want to, be at the pearly gates with the Lord. But I mean, I don't know why we went. I don't have nothing against the man. Like as far as like, I don't hate the man. I don't like the man. I just don't like him. Like he don't stand for me. But I also
Hmm.
understand like politics in general
Yeah.
don't stand for me. Like Kamala didn't stand for us. Like
Hmm.
none of these politicians stand for us.
What's the most like insignificant person that we need to forgive? But like it's like we need to forgive them because it's forgiveness.
Chris
Like
Brown.
who? I don't think that's insignificant. I mean like something real like kind of petty, like a celebrity, like somebody who just. I'm trying to think like. It's somebody who or somebody who we
that we
want, or
canceled.
somebody,
And
yeah, somebody that we cancel that we really want to forget because we like them low key, but it's like we just cannot.
Jesse Smollett.
Yes, Smollett. Yes,
Yeah.
let's forgive him, y'all. I know it
Yeah.
was a little crazy time, and his thing is kind of like resolving now. I think
Yeah,
yeah,
he got some
that was a good
things.
example. Yeah, let's forgive him. I know it was wild, and it really, and I could see why certain communities really was annoyed with him because it was almost like, and I'm not saying like this, it was almost like, you know how like people say somebody sexually assaulted them
Mm,
and they really didn't do it. You know, like they really didn't do
yeah.
it. It's like it sets people in that scenario. It'll set real victims
Mm.
back. You know what I'm saying? So I think with the Jussie Smollett thing, you know, it was like the hate stuff or whatever, hate crimes against homo. You know, that's like really bad to do.
You
So
about to hate my next person. I think we need to start forgiving R. Kelly.
I mean, because we gotta forgive everybody.
Yeah, I just think that
Yeah.
like one of the things about R. Kelly, I always say people never took in consideration is his
life.
pain.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it doesn't give anybody the right to do it to the next person, but if you understand the brain and how it's chemically balanced and how when you don't have the right chemicals, when you're going through things like that happens, and when you like it, you get
when you're
used to
not
it.
seeking God, you know, when we're younger stuff, and you know, being a celebrity and stuff like, you know, we don't always prioritize God and
Yeah.
praying and stuff like that. And honestly, that is the only way that those traumas will not manifest into possible being like the predator or just being hurt and carrying it out on people. You have to really seek God, and a lot of times we don't. So and like with that situation, he really, hopefully with him in jail and having this time, he's really locking in with God so he can get all of that
Yeah, right.
up out of him.
But I do think that's somebody that we should forgive. He's not necessarily. I mean, you got to forgive him for his crimes, but I think he's someone we have to take into consideration his past and what he's went through. And when you look at research and science, people that are sexually assaulted usually bring it back, and that's the life they live.
They bring it back, and then and they're also very hypersexual. They're very
Like there's so much, so it's like. I think that his
Is he gonna
mental at
die in
that
jail?
moment. I think so. I think he's in
Really?
jail for the life. Like I don't.
What
think
did he actually get like years? Like what was his
Yeah.
actual
I don't know.
sentence?
I just know he can't. I don't think he can get out of jail. I think he's in jail for life. Cause it was more than just one girl.
But it just feels so long. It just seems like
Look,
it's
let's
been,
Google it.
because now with all this R. Kelly thing just seems so. And I don't remember the defining moment of how many years he got, and actually
He's serving a 31 prison sentence. Something like that. So yeah, for the rest of his life.
Well, how old is he?
I mean, he was out when we was young.
I'm sure he was in
an
his
adult.
40s
Like
when he went in, right?
Probably like 40, 50. He might get out 80, 90.
Now.
I mean, he might. But I think that's someone we need to forgive. I think I need to forgive Oprah.
I haven't really dove into the facts of like what Oprah has done.
I just feel like Oprah, one of the things, just growing up, man, she was the first black woman really on prime time type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like
there is the only one Oprah.
She
There's only one Oprah.
She never put other black people on. I don't think she put, besides Gail, her BFF. I feel like Gail has the jobs that she has because of her friend.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, yeah, she has the schools in Africa. Like whatever that story is, I don't know much about Oprah, but I think it's time for us to forgive Oprah because one, she's not on TV no more. We don't really hear much about her, and you got to realize that when Oprah started, it's only bound that she's like this in 2024. Like
you gotta be cutthroat.
Yeah, so I think like it's time for us to start.
Do you
forgiving
feel like
Oprah.
Monique has forgiven her?
No, because Monique want an apology. But I think Monique needs to understand that not everybody's gonna give you what you want.
Yeah,
you don't have to put your. People are gonna forgive you because they want to forgive you. Some people don't think they did anything wrong. So what the fuck they forgive you for?
And also too, your forgiveness should never be contingent on somebody else's apology.
Yeah,
it should never be like that. Because honey, people ain't going. It really can't be like that. You really have to be okay with forgive people.
Because sometimes you're not even gonna get an apology. Sometimes
rare times or a
like
heart. And at the end of the day, in our human emotions, it may feel good to get an apology, but I mean, at the end of the day, if somebody give you an apology, you have to you're gonna sit there and wonder that is it genuine?
Yeah.
Now, do I feel like it's genuine? Okay, now if it is genuine, I have to accept it. Eh, do I really accept this apology? Was it genuine enough for me to was it really enough? I don't think an apology is ever enough for
I
me.
think
Like
it's
it's
actions.
I think it's
Like,
cute to do, and I think it makes the other person maybe feel good. But nobody's ever apologized to me, and I'm like, oh, that's just I just needed that.
I look at apologies like it's cool to say it, like you said, but I think it's
Yeah,
more of like what you do afterwards.
yeah,
Like, what? How do
because
you
it's
take
just
this and learn
words.
from? Exactly, words mean nothing. I told you,
Yeah.
word, them little messages that be online
Mm-hmm.
means nothing. So it's like to be able to forgive somebody based off of your pure feelings. I'm trying to tell you, I think it starts with you forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
I really do. I really,
That was
deep
profound. That was a
down.
word that you said because you started out with that.
Yeah.
Because I ain't even really think you do have to forgive yourself, but I think it starts. I honestly, I think now, if I'm gonna forgive somebody, I'm not even gonna start the process of forgiving them until I have forgiven
Forgiving
myself
yourself.
for that.
Oh, okay.
Because
I'm glad for
I
joy.
yes, I really think that it starts there.
Well, that's lesson. That's the lesson,
Forgive
man.
yourself first,
Forgive
and then
yourself
circle
first.
back and have the conversations, do whatever. Because that's half the battle. I
But
think eighty
but
percent of the battle is forgiving yourself.
but life is too short, so make it happen quick.
And you could be dead tomorrow.
Man, tell me about it. With that being said, we love and
I was about to
appreciate
say something. I was
y'all.
about to say something crazy.
I'm glad you did.
I was about to say, ask the CEO of United Healthcare. You never know.
Ooh,
You never know.
you never know what's gonna happen in your life. You could be going to a meeting and be pow pow
What?
by the silencer by
Mm.
Luigi. But with that being
By a
said,
Mario
no,
character.
exactly. But with that being said, no, in all seriousness, y'all really do forgive yourself. First, I think it starts with you. It starts within. But to forgive, you gotta understand everything about it. You gotta ask your questions. Forgiveness comes with reflection. So once you reflect, I think it's easier to forgive. I'm still working on my forgiveness, but I promise y'all, I'm gonna continue to strive to be the best version of me. And with that being said, I love and I appreciate y'all. Peace.